Run.
Good morning, everybody. This is Bill Candick, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Custer County. Time now is 9:00. We'll begin this meeting. Please silence your phones if you've got them. This is Wednesday, April the 8th, 2026. Please stand for the pledge.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lucas.
Please bow your heads for this. Dear Heavenly Father, we gathered here today once again to conduct the business of our wonderful county. We thank you for watching over us and helping us make those managerial decisions that are needed to make our county benefit and prosper. We do this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Paul. Okay. Roll call, Kelly.
Commissioner Cagle,
Here.
Present.
Commissioner Vogelsong,
Here.
County Attorney Dan Slater. Here. BOCC Admin Caitlin Womack. Here. And Clerk to the Board, Kelly Seaver, present.
Thank you. Audience introduction. Let's start with Jim.
Jim Shadland,
And the other Jim.
James Gilbert,
Planning Crawford, Director of Finance.
Richmond, I'm sure.
And it's all here present. Is anybody online? I was in one of those news days today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In a different time.
Yeah, they're on Paul's time.
No, I'm back here.
All right, we have any amendments, gentlemen?
None for me.
Anything from you, Paul?
Nothing.
Okay, I don't have any either. And we've got some minutes. I move that we accept the minutes from March 18th and March 25th. They look good.
I'll second.
Comments, any changes? Okay, with that, I'll call for that vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes as presented by Kelly, say aye. Paul?
Hi.
Lucas?
Aye.
And I. Commissioner items, Paul, you got anything?
One thing coming up, it'll be, I might probably change it to Tuesday for in case the block runs over. But I'm gonna be opening up a 2 days a month at least down in Wetmore. And it's gonna be an evening type thing where I'm down there about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll go to 7 o'clock that evening. And I'm setting up kind of a satellite office, just trying to contact more younger people that never come to town, don't come to meetings, don't get in to find out what's going on. They're not online. There's quite a few of them. And hopefully by doing that, I'll be upstairs in the library area. I'll have the conference room and the lounge area, and I'll have a file cabinet down there with different things that would be interested to have that they would come into town for, like flyers or bulletins or sign up for Everbridge and that. I'd like to get that out to them. Only because my district is so remote that it's tough, and there's some different things they can do to get on Everbridge on their cell phones, even if power's out. So I'd like to get them a little bit up to speed on Everbridge and for emergency contact. And that's gonna be like the second Wednesday or maybe Thursday now. And the last Thursday, and that is for I can attend the fire meeting down in Wetmore. Try to open up a little more communications with the fire chief and his crew down there, so. Anyway, so if you're driving through Wetmore and you see a sign that says satellite office library, it's me. I'll be there till about 8-9 o'clock, 7 maybe. We'll see what the workflow is. So that's all I have.
As long as an alien doesn't abduct you.
Yeah, and they're not in a different time zone, so I'll be
Okay, his computer goes bonkers.
yeah. I won't take it.
Lucas.
So we've talked a lot about fire mitigation, fire hazards, ignition points, all that kind of stuff, because it looks like we're going into a bad fire season. Yeah, we could get a lot of April showers yet. That'll hopefully bring, the Mayflowers, but, right now, where I think we continue to get going on and keeping on. What do we do? How are we gonna respond? What can we do for the fire department and still have water for our roads? So just a lot of discussions over the last couple weeks. We got the evacuation study back from Ladris that we spent the last of the Title III PILT money on that we had to. So we've got that evacuation study back and reviewed that. I think, if I remember correctly, on the 30th or the 31st. We've also been talking to CTSI, our insurance carrier, about our liability insurance. It is exponentially gone up about 23 to 25% a year over the last 2-3 years, and 24 is not going to be an easy year to swallow. We had a lot of accidents, a lot of things happen in 24, so that'll go on this next time and probably bump our insurance rates up. So what are we, so training and what can we do to eliminate some of that stuff we've been talking about? I want to thank the VFW for going and picking up trash along our fence line at the landfill. Probably due to the wind, doesn't look like it anymore, but I just want to say thank you to them for cleaning that up, because I know it makes, at least it makes it look nice for a little while. And it eliminates some hazard that we have there, so. Met with Brittany Pedersen when she was here April 1st, kind of talked about the fire, and that was probably our biggest thing coming up, that we could, we need DC's look on that, and I know they're gonna do some mixing with some of their departments of the interior, but nothing should affect us this year. It looks like the changes are gonna come next year, and of course, we won't really know what those are until they happen.
Right. Yeah, along that fire, just since you brought it up, you got other stuff. What we're gonna try to do is, because most of the mitigation issues are within the boundaries of Custer County. Forest Service does their own thing. And in fact, they'll have controlled burns continued. As a matter of fact, they're not stopping that. But what we're gonna try to do is mitigate this with the best practices we can, and use local contractors, so it helps feed the economy of the county as well, as opposed to bringing somebody in from Michigan on outside the county bids. So, and there's some examples of a way to do it that like out on the near where Darrell Riggs' place is, that we can take and use as examples, bring them up there and say, here's the end goal. This is what we're trying to be. And so we'll keep practicing on that. So I'll make that happen. Get it if we can get a meeting together to do that.
Good.
And what else do you have?
So, workforce housing, had that meeting. We are gonna have an open house at Tony's on April 22nd from 5:30 to 7. Come at any time. We'll have stations set up to kind of go through the who, what, where, when, why, how we got these lots, what we plan for these lots, what it may look like, or what we plan on it looking like. So, just opening it up to the community, and we want to have that conversation. April 22nd at Tony's from 5:30 to 7 p.m.
Good.
And it doesn't just start at 5:30, so you can come anytime. We wanted it to be
Right.
kind of an open forum type thing. Not gonna have speakers, we're just gonna have stations, so make it a little informal, but maybe easier for people to have a conversation to begin. And I think that's it for now.
You get in seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple things. We there's a phone policy that we have, and part of that is if you need to use your private phone, you need permission to use it, because in certain extenuating circumstances. So we probably ought to take a quick look, because I was talking with the sheriff and Rich had some ideas and others have. The elected official or the director probably ought to be the first line that says you have, if you're calling, you got a job you're doing and you need to make an emergency call on your own phone, then if you need to talk to somebody. Right now, the policy says only the commissioners can give the permission. So we got to take a look whether that we really mean that or whether we need to outline that. So we can talk about that with John at some point, maybe a little workshop or whatever. I think it's a good idea. The boss who's directing the traffic ought to be able to make that call. Otherwise, tracking us down, timing might be an issue.
Okay.
Airport board meeting went well. Did you have anything to say about that from a finance point of view?
No, we are preparing for the audit. We've been having a lot more discussions just in the short term as preparing for the audit about these upcoming grants, what we're gonna do with them, funding them, and how we set that all up. And then taking care of and getting rid of, getting ready the grants from last year for the audit. So I think we're in a good spot. Sam DiNardo is busy till, of course, tax day, and then we'll start having some conversations about the 20th to the end of the month about when he's planning on coming up and start taking over. But our goal has always been somewhat May 4th, we'd start that, and we kind of set that with Sam DiNardo last year.
That's right, it worked.
So that we can get going, get started and be done by the end of July.
Yeah, and it's bigger than just the airport. We got lots of grants that we live on and need. So it's critical. The airport grant that we're working on right now includes getting lights either on the runway or lead-in lights for the approach. Safety issues that are good and needed, and we've got the money. The state has put it up, so we're getting ready to spend it. Also out there, they have a request. I talked to Vince about getting me some road base out there on that north gate, because it is falling apart. And when if we do get the option to clear some dirt out, we'll take out the new scraper out there and put some dirt up in the holes from the north end, south end of the runway back up to the where the tanks are, fuel tanks, which will be good. Got the equipment now. And speaking of road and bridge, they had mentioned the pending grader that Salida wants to sell, and John Deere is willing to refinance our balloon payment issue. So we want to have probably a workshop on that here soon. May 7th is the deadline. Basically, we're working towards, so we'll get the workshop in between then, and we can figure out how to get a better grader, get rid of our bad grader, get a better bad grader, and then refinance the balloon payment, get it easier to pay on the other two that are left.
And just to add to that, one grader, but we have two graders that we can hardly get parts for anymore. And if it goes down, that's gonna be done.
Roger that. That's all I got. Anything else up here?
No.
Okay, next would be Dan. What you got?
It's been a busy couple of weeks, last few weeks, a lot of questions and various officials and, the normal stuff.
There was one item that you had to delay to the next meeting because they're too late to get it in today. What was that? You recommend?
It was a contract or something.
Yeah, it was, but it wasn't time critical, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. Yeah, it was just small, couple of another contract that I had to look at yesterday. So yeah.
Okay.
It was a big deal. I think that was from, it was from the sheriff's office. Oh, it was, that was the town of West Coast contract, with the sheriff's office. Sheriff got that to me yesterday and I looked at it, so. No big deal, we'll deal with that next week probably.
We already have one with Westcliff that's active now.
So we have one with Silver Cliff that is active, and we should have had our West Cliff contract signed before the end of the year, but they lost their.
That's right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Should say Silver Cliffs Town Attorney is more efficient than West Cliffs.
He moonlights as a commissioner, I hear.
Only during with Silver Cliffs meetings.
Yeah. And then I'll have to step out at 9:30 to go, make a brief attendance in court, so.
Today,
Yeah, today.
is there anything you need to do before then?
No, I'm good with everything.
And I know you're good with the contracts we got.
Yeah, we'll do everything.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. That it?
Sid?
Caitlin?
LATCF report finally got submitted. I was locked out of the account for 2.5 weeks.
I know.
So after a very long back and forth, we finally did get back in, and that was submitted. CTF was submitted back in February, I believe. It was returned to me for more details. I submitted those details. It is still pending approval in their system, but it is submitted. And other than that, I've just been doing a lot of work on my new website, getting everything up there that needs to be.
Okay. Good. All right, anything else here?
Just kidding.
Yeah, Kelly, you got anything?
No.
All right, unfinished business. I don't have anything.
Me neither.
Not at all.
Okay, so that brings us to the agenda. And so let's start off, as we know, with the first item here is the Desmond short-term rental, and I bet you that's why,
That's why.
Elena is here.
Yes.
Nice bright spring looking today.
No.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so the planning commission, this is a recommendation to the commissioners for approval of a short-term rental for Richard Desmond on 101 Cold Spring Road in Eagle Spring Ranch. It was a unanimous vote for all members.
What kind of conditions did they change them in? Maybe?
Yes, the recommendations that they had was that he needed to change two things in his rule book for the guests. No open flames, to prohibit the use of open flames on the property, so that needed to be listed in his rules. And then also mark boundary lines, so put that in his rule book where the boundary lines are on the property, so guests don't wander onto someone else's property.
Did they argue about what kind of, how to do that,
No.
with tape or?
Is there a fireplace or are we going to stove
In the house?
in the house?
No, so the situation with this short-term rental is Richard Desmond lives upstairs and then he has a whole different downstairs in his home. So he will be there full-time when they're short-term.
Oh, when it's, okay,
He'll be upstairs and then he has a.
He gets the Everbridge call and they all bail.
the landlord's upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a different living quarters downstairs.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose that. Okay.
Hmm.
Any other points? Yeah, I move we approve the application that's presented by Tony.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Getting ready to do that.
Anything else? Out here? Online? We got anybody online? Let me see, Rob?
Robert Smith and Nikki Lake.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
where's Rob? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll call for that vote. Hearing no other discussion. All in favor, say aye. Paul?
Hi,
Lucas? Kanda, aye.
thank you, Ms. Bowman.
Thank you, Dorian. Okay, next out of shoots the after prom donation, and we discussed that before. I think it's what's $500.
Yeah, I think we did 800 last year, but, we did 5 last year? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did 8 before that. $801, if I remember.
Yeah, we did $1 more than Silver Cliff that year.
It had to be silver.
But I'll make a motion to donate $500 out of our community outreach fund under the commissioners to the after prom.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to donate $500 for the after prom party, which is a good thing because it's a controlled party. And they have a great time at it. Any other discussion? Anything out
You're
here?
good.
Okay, all in favor of the $500 donation, say aye. Lucas.
Aye.
Paul.
Bogasana.
Kanda, aye. Okay, this is what we've been waiting for. We want to know about the 50,000 watt taser that the sheriff wants. You want to talk about it, Rich?
So we have a existing contract that's been running for 5 years with Axon. And the Axon company used to be known as Taser. And they provide us a stun gun and they also provide us a body camera. And so we're required to have a body camera by state law. And the camera system that we use, if you pull your pistol out of your holster, if you turn your taser on, if you hit your flashing lights on.
You get tased instead, is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, it'll turn the camera on all by itself. And so the camera is actually always recording.
Is that right?
But if you do that, it'll remember the 30 seconds before whatever happened.
Oh, so it's always getting it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have audio until you actually turn it on. And so that the deputies come in, they plug it into a little stand which charges it, sends the data to the cloud. And we have really struggled up into this year because the massive amount of data those things collect. And they collect stuff like the GPS location at all times and some different things. And our network inside could not handle that. And so you guys upgraded the county IT, and so now we have no problem, it's seamless. However, Taser has our data in their cloud, or Axon has our data in the cloud, and to get it back, you can download something dumb like 1 gigabyte a day. So we basically have to hire a guy to download this raw data.
If there's a request
Yeah.
made for them.
Well, if we want to get away from their contract.
Oh.
And so these body cameras are subject to open records requests. They're used frequently in court. And so I would recommend approving it because there's not another vendor that can do everything we ask them to do. Axon also has a company called evidence.com, which is part of this deal. And so
They'll unload it for you. Is that the company?
yeah, so on the murder case that we just won, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of video, terabytes. And so instead of having to download all that to the state e-discovery computer, they send a link. And then that way the district attorney can watch it. But every time you do that, it creates an audit trail. And so in one case, the attorney said, "Oh, I didn't get it." And the audit trail said, "You did get it, and you watched it on this day from this time to this time." So
While they're in there, is there a timer in there that actually bills for the time usage, or does that come to you?
So we end up paying for all that.
Okay, that's why I just want to make sure we have it in the budget to take care of it.
What's that cost? No, not the
The
story.
court people doing it when they log in.
Yeah, that's included in this.
That's included.
Included in it, okay. I just want to know if that was.
Is this grant,
Blow up.
Is that grant funded?
No, it's not.
No.
I think so.
And then we can't apply for a grant to pay for something we already paid for.
Right.
So the company presented you guys with 2 contract options, one to renew it for 5 years, one to renew it for 10 years. If we renew it, they'll upgrade us to the newest body camera and taser, which we currently have one that's one generation.
If we renew it for either option or just the 10-year option.
You could do 5 or 10, whatever you guys want to do. And that's the prices I have here. I could go back to the vendor and get a 1-year contract, but they gave you some discounts. Obviously, they want to lock us in for as long as they can.
Okay. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I like the idea of not getting charged for their usage, that'd be good.
Lucas?
Do they upgrade equipment then if we go with the 10-year contract? Are they gonna upgrade the equipment 5
Yes.
years in or?
Yes, and that's actually written in there. I think the 5-year one was they would do it for sure one time. And I think the 10-year was they would for sure do it 2 different times.
So.
Now, is that software or is that just renewing basically?
Yeah, so we're renewing the camera itself, the dock that downloads the data, the taser, an instructor and an instructor certification. And this is the 10-year. This is the PowerPoint.
Might happen.
The annual cost there is 32,000 over 5 years. And I think that's what we're paying now. I think we're paying 32,000, and then so this would go up to 34,000.
Our current contract, was that a 1 year only? Is it, were we doing one by one? What were we doing?
We could break it out like that. And so I could break out just the cameras for 1 year, just the taser self-defense thing. But
No, you don't.
the contract is
I'm just
just
wondering, I wondered what our previous terms were.
Yep.
Dan, is there any issue with a 10-year contract?
This has the appropriation.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good to me. I'll move we approve the contract for 10 years.
5 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, we can discuss anything else on that.
No, I don't like doing business with a company that's got a monopoly.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a real, I mean, we've always done, it's looked like sole sourcing and it's not his fault. It's
No.
legislature fault and it's the fault of.
So is there a nationwide same
They're
thing?
worldwide.
Yeah, so they got the lock on everything.
Oh, yeah.
We did, prior to this, we did find a company in California called wolfbox.com, and they make a similar product. But we'd have to have our own servers and things, and John came up
Right,
with that.
there's
and it was a
additional
disaster
cost.
for him. We tried to manage.
It'd be hard to maintain.
Rich, I got one question for the vote, is that, if we find out that we don't need it anymore, under the contract that is for the 10 years, is that doable?
Do we have a penalty?
We would be, that would be part of the budget, we would just not appropriate money for that. That's what the non-appropriation clause is, up to you, the three of you to decide what
Just-
sheriff's budget is
Just
every
like
year.
Congress.
Yeah. So,
I was just looking at it, if there's a need in the budget that you need to deal with, then we could go ahead and let this go for a year or whatever, but.
I screwed
yeah,
up.
that he's required by law to have these body cams, it's not
Right.
an option that he had.
Yeah, I'm worried about the.
It would require a change in state law to get into that.
Maybe there's a, you can tweak within the year, probably. I don't know. It probably wouldn't be worth it. Saving $10,000. I don't know if it's possible. With this contract. Get rid of something for feature for a few months.
Right,
But even if it wasn't required by law, I would come in and argue that it's a benefit to have these cameras because it sure helps clear up.
Well,
some-
it keeps us from getting sued. Which
Yeah.
reminds me, you made breaking news. We won the deal, so you want to talk about what you won? The lawsuit. That you mentioned it in your speech. You just made it
The homicide.
the homicide.
Oh, yeah, we won the murder trial. And the jury typically in a case like that would deliberate for 20 hours for a single death. And this was 3 and it was, just over an hour, which is considered pretty darn good. And then the judge gave them the max sentence.
So
on every.
the issue with not doing the proper kind of investigation was proven to be really wrong.
Oh, yeah, in fact, the attorney, the case was so good, they were attacking little pieces of evidence here and there, but.
Yeah,
they
good.
had it.
That's good. You got a professional now.
just to clarify my comment about the actual contract is if the competitor were to come in. At the 50 years, we'd be able to get out of that contract, maybe with some fees, but go with the.
I believe the attorney said that we could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're year by year.
We're year by year.
So at any year, we could cancel.
yeah.
We just don't appropriate, we say.
But Axon offers drones, they offer
Right.
license plate cameras, it all goes into this central. It'd be hard for a guy to jump into business against them.
Well, unless they really screwed up, but we do have an out if we had to.
Right,
Languages.
appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Anything online?
Question.
Go ahead, Kelly.
So this is a 5-year contract, do you add a 10-year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she gave us 2 of them.
So we'll need it.
She shorted.
Thanks, Dan.
Jim, you got one?
What is the cost over the contract if number of deputies goes up.
If it goes up,
Looks like you've got 20 and say you had 25 deputies.
you're correct, then we'd have to pay more money.
And what is it for deputy?
If you scroll back, there is a line that says,
Individual costs.
on one of the details, there's a thing where it breaks it down into the actual cost. Here we go. Go a little farther down.
It's roughly 2,000 a deputy.
And then how often are tasers discharged? And
Since I've been here 3.5 years, I think twice, and once was a person who pulled a knife on a deputy. And so that would have been a clear case of self-defense to use a pistol if the taser hadn't worked. And then I believe we used it a second time. About 5 years ago, the taser was used improperly on a person in the county. Paid probably the biggest settlement in county history.
Right.
To the victim of that.
wow,
Hey,
sounds like
twice.
tasers unnecessary,
But until the one lady agreed it. And so the day where the deputy pays the suspect who had a knife, I would much rather tase someone than have to be forced to shoot them.
Just along that line, maintenance wise, I guess, do you have to discharge them periodically?
You do.
Right, test them,
You have to.
and you want to make sure they're not over jacking it.
And this machine you plug it into does all that. And it
And-
keeps track of which cop pulled the taser, exactly what time, the
Right.
GPS, how many seconds it was on.
And if it's a bad taser, is it like warranty, so they'll just automatically replace it?
Anything, and that's for our current contract now, so as soon as a taser or a camera goes bad, we send it to them, and he says, this is okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, any other questions online anywhere? Anybody? You good, Kelly? All right, I'll call for that vote. All in favor, say aye. Paul,
Hi.
Lucas?
Aye.
And aye. Thank you, Rich. Now, it would be the grant, relief grant and Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant approved. So go ahead on that one.
So the LEAF grant is provided by the state of Colorado through Department of Transportation. And it does high visibility enforcement, which is primarily drunk and drug driving. And so this would pay us $6,500, and we can use that for overtime. So an event like the rodeo, you could put an extra deputy on overtime to do DUI enforcement. But they'll also pay for us to get these DUI goggles. And so we do a thing at the school, and the person wears the goggles, and then you use like masking tape and have them walk in a straight line. Well, if they look down, it distorts their vision, and they can't step on the line similar to it. So it just shows like the dangers of drunk driving. And
Oh, I see. It's a demo.
yeah, and then it also has a thing for marijuana as well, to show the kids you shouldn't drink and drive or smoke pot.
And the timeline on marijuana is different too, because it stays with you longer. Is there
Yes.
a way to meter that, so when you test it?
There's a lot of companies working on that. The first one to finish it'll make a lot of money.
Sure. But bottom line there is don't do it.
Right.
Okay. Okay, any other? But
So you have two items on your list there. The first is the LEAF grant. The second one is the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant. That's a federal grant. And the Colorado has a thing called POST, Peace Officer Standards and Testing. And each year they increase, which I think is a good deal, the level of training that police officers in Colorado have to have. One significant change that is coming is the use of decision-making and use of force encounters. And so what that involves is setting up some video screens, and you can do it with one screen, or they have one, like a whole room full of screens. And you go into a scenario and you see on the scenario, and if you do a good job of talking the person down, then they don't. try to stab you with a knife or shoot you or something, and there's an instructor who controls the outcomes. And so currently, we do not have a system like that. In fact, I don't think any agency around here does, and except Colorado Springs. So we would have to pay for our deputies to go to Colorado Springs or some private vendor and get this required training. So what we thought would be good is to get this grant, buy the setup, and we could actually set it up in this room. We'll train our own deputies for free because it's our system, and then would open it up to the surrounding counties to send their deputies to get trained for a small.
For a minor fee.
Yep.
Is there a match on this?
No,
And are we assured to get it, or is this just open that we get it?
yeah, we're applying with millions of other.
Right, so logically, we may not get either one of
I
them.
don't know, Neil did a pretty good job of writing it up, and would be the
Looks
first
good.
one in a rural state to have it.
Mhm. Yeah, he did it.
Hmm.
Okay, any other questions?
But also in that same grant, there's a mobile fingerprint scanner because sometimes bad guys will forget what their name is and don't have an ID with them. Wellness and mental health support for the first responders. We've done an incredible job in our county with our co-responder team and our own clinician helping the community with mental health problems. But then the deputies and first responders also
When's
experience
the
this.
deadline to put it in?
It's coming up pretty quick.
Thought it was like,
Yep, and then one last thing on this grant is down third from the bottom. We have really, the sheriff's office has really gotten the benefit of your IT guy, John Mapes. And so this would give us funds to pay him when he's working for us and not you
it's
guys.
a salary for IT and GIS, so.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions? And from tracking the grant, we're good with the system, so.
Yeah, we'll send it in and then we'll get noticed. And then in some cases, they may X something up, say you can't spend the money on this, or they may say, we're gonna give you half of what you asked for.
Got a motion? You wanna do it?
I just trying to figure out if there's both of them or just a single one.
It's both.
Be both. Okay. I make a motion that we go ahead and accept and approve the
Application.
applications for the grants of, I was looking for the names again. The
Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant.
And the leaf grant.
Axon Taser Buddy.
No, the leaf.
For the Leaf Grant and the Edward Bryant
Okay.
Memorial Justice Grant.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we, the application for both these grants is presented. All in favor, any other discussion? Anything online? Is anybody online still? Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Lucas.
Aye.
Paul.
Both on it.
Kanda, aye. Thank you.
Good. I like the part about being reimbursed for the IT though.
No, he's done a heck of a job for us, but I feel bad because he's really helped us get our system going where we needed it to be. So thank you.
He's been overworked and underpaid.
He is.
That's it, okay. Good. Okay, next out of the chute. Another item. And this is for the adoption of resolution 2623. It's a resolution authorizing the sale of a diesel generator. And since it's a generator supplied by the DRMO program, go ahead, Rich, it's your show.
So we acquired this for free a little over a year ago. And we didn't use it. And we put it up for auction. And a local person named Ryan Stover was the winning bid.
And part of the problem with that was that it was not high enough power to do some things, I
Doesn't
guess.
have the right
generator.
kilowatts.
Yeah, it's got a military plug-in thing. And the commissioners actually, you own your own 10 kilowatt generator, which you store in our property.
Right.
And it's got like 20 different connectors that it'll fit into.
But this one didn't work. Okay, so there was a couple bids in, bid was for $2,625. Okay, well then I will move that we adopt resolution number 2623 as discussed. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Okay, then moved and seconded. Any other discussion here? Jim?
Yeah, with respect to the money, isn't there a specific line item for these? Um. Acquired from the military and then sold by the sheriff's department where the money goes?
Yes, there is a specific line and it goes to the treasurer's office. And then there is some rules as part of the program of what that money can be spent on. And one of the items is training for police officers or maintenance of our police.
Okay, so I guess the end to my question is perhaps the resolution ought to have that information in it.
Well, what we did approve a resolution that set up the process initially. Which when it described what you must do with a DRMO program, so I don't know if we need it, what do you think, Lucas?
I was thinking kind of the same thing, why it doesn't designate it into which account, but we'll fix that on future ones. Well, I'll have Vernon
Yeah,
put that
there
in
is the
there.
process, but it probably, that's part of the acceptance.
Learn how that funds be
Sale and
distributed.
where it's sold to and then where the money went.
So that.
But that's usually in a
It's not
budget,
that
it's usually in a budget amendment,
I
but
say it would show
Separate.
Yeah, and we
Do
did.
this, then next time he'll do
the actual how it went.
But I think you make a point, Jim. I think we could add that on there that these assets or the sale of these assets goes into the county's, the sheriff's department's 10 fund account.
I know we did
Okay.
discuss that because we have to have an audit trail, but you pointed out when we did that the DMR pops in here and audits you all the time.
Right.
So you do have a process to keep that, so maybe we reference that in resolutions for.
So we do have to do an annual audit, but they can do a random audit.
Yeah, and they've done that a couple times.
Well, when we, like, almost at the end of our first year, the guy came down because we were new, he just wanted to make sure we were doing.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Any other discussion? Anything online? Anything up here? No. Okay, I'll call for that vote. All in favor of adopting resolution 2623, say aye. Lucas?
Aye.
Paul?
Oh, sorry.
Kanda, aye. Okay, next out of the chute. Resolution 2624, it's the sale of portable lights. That's another show. Go for it. Rich.
So we did get two of these portable light towers. And they have I can't remember the name of the bulb, but mercury vapor or sodium something.
Mercury vapor is what they usually are.
Or the yellow, there's sodium.
I'm sorry, I don't know which of the two it is, but we got it all fixed and running, but we'd rather have one that had like LED lights on it. And so we put this up for auction and a person, Lynn Coral, bought both the units.
Both. It owns a generator light. Okay. Okay, so this is a Custer County Resolution 2624, resolution authorizing the sale of 2 generator light units. Any other discussion here?
I'll make a motion to adopt Custer County Resolution number 2624, authorizing sale of 2 generator light units.
I'll second that one. Okay, any other discussion? Jim?
Yeah, I have a question, and this is, I don't mean to be flippant about it, but. Okay, the explanation is it came with sodium vapor, whatever, but we'd rather have LED. Why didn't you look for LED in the first place? But it sounds almost like this is, what's that website? Deal Dash or whatever. Where you bid on something and you get whatever you get. You don't even know what you bid for. And if that's the case, then what we're doing is using a lot of time resources, etc., people resources to market stuff we get out of a unknown box. It's like an Amazon box.
Yeah, I know it sounds like, we'll take some of that. I know that sounds a lot like that, but what they do, and I'm aware of how that happens, is the light itself is a useful thing. It was, whether it's mercury vapor or not. And not, I don't know if they knew that at the time. But that was why it wasn't bought, because it didn't have it or not.
But you are correct. We, so like one thing we needed is, we wanted to have a spare set of tires for the MRAP. That's $50,000 for a set of 6. And so we went to Fort Carson and they said, we have 6 tires for you. So we actually, the person who does this for us, actually a volunteer, Charles Cox, goes up there and looks at them and he says, I don't think these are the right tires. And so we have done that several times.
Check
and
it
we
out
actually
first.
just refuse it if it's just totally not usable, but he did luck out and we actually ended up getting a set of 6 new tires for free. So that saved us the money of having to.
Meaning there is an effort to try to make sure it's useful when not too whimsical.
But sometimes we had poor, I'll say the politically correct, like poor quality equipment that was, we could just turn around and say, no, that's not worth our trouble.
Yeah, in the end.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned about the stuff that we get. And it's not poor quality, it's just, we don't really want this, so we're just gonna sell it. And so we're taking time to go through all those hoops, including this, and then selling it. And it strikes me that that's not necessarily the purpose of the sheriff's department. But regardless, I have absolutely no problem with going to a known thing and looking at it and saying yes or no. I guess the benefit is all this stuff that you're looking at is essentially free.
It is, and Jim,
But
you make a very good point.
Doing stuff with.
But the bigger picture is, this is a statewide program only for the sheriffs of all the counties, and so they all, it's really a good thing in the big picture, because there's equipment that nobody ever uses in the military for, all this stuff is basically new. So here's an opportunity to see if there's something out there in any of these counties that could be useful. And of course, we're not gonna go out there and say, well, let's get a program going. We're gonna get everything we can. We're gonna make $2,000 everything. It's not at all the intent.
We have helped other agencies.
Being very cynical, that's exactly what I'm driving at.
I know, that's exactly right.
So some of the things we got from them were tools to fix trucks that were very high quality. And we don't need them at the sheriff's office, so we gave them like a road and bridge, and now they're being used to fix.
And the good news is, we've never participated before, and have been missing out on a lot of things that the county could have had. And
They talk about, the MRAP or something, those are big attention things, but I have a belt.
it's a battering ram.
I have a belt, so there's a leather belt.
Drive it through the front door of a hostage situation.
Access.
But so underneath my uniform here, there's a Velcro belt that holds this leather one on. And my Velcro had worn out and it's like $100 and I just needed to go down and get it. Well, Fort Carson actually gave us a set of Velcro belts for every deputy. So just little things like that add up.
Makes a big difference.
If I may add that the bulbs that are in there now on this unit, probably gonna be going away and going to LED, and to upgrade that to that level,
Cost of money.
the cost would be more than buying the bulb, but it's just can't get a hold of them anymore. I know some of the fluorescents did that.
Okay, any other discussion? Online? Okay, I'll call for that vote. All in favor of adopting resolution 2624, a resolution authorizing generator rate sales.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved in second.
We already-
We seconded this. I'm calling for the, all in favor. You can be first.
I can be first? Aye.
All right, And,
Back in.
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Thought we missed that.
Yeah.
So we had to redo.
Okay, up next is the CCI conference discussions. Lucas, you want to take it?
So we put together, actually, I should say Caitlin put together the CCI summer conference cost breakdown. This CCI has continued to go up in price as well as motel nights. So the total for the early bird is dues and meetings is we have 6,500 in there. We have travel, we have 4,000 in there. And I would say we don't spend it all, but the total for going to this conference alone is $3,288.36. In years past, that's the total we spent total, period, for both. So
It was double.
yeah, it's expensive. We didn't have enough money in our budget last year for all of us to go. That's why we didn't all go to all of them. I didn't go to any of them last year.
Way up except for the hotel.
So, it's, who wants to go?
Well, one thing's for sure, these are worth it, even though sometimes you think it's not, but it's useful and we will all have to go.
And then being gone for 3 days without commissioner here locally to take care of anything that
They'll
happens.
go wild, Paul.
I know, so I said, I would stay behind
No.
and
You,
that way,
have you been to one?
yeah, when we went to,
Well, that was the other.
Yeah.
Right.
but I was just thinking that 3 days, we may have issues come up with it.
What do you propose?
Well, I didn't go to one last year. I'd like to go to
You
the
need to
spring
go.
one. I haven't gone to the summer one since I've been a commissioner, so I thought maybe I'd go this year to this one. And that's
And I'll add to the reason.
around 6 something.
New commissioner come in January, and he would be up to speed with what's going on.
So just, it's more for discussion and just to be
Yeah, we can
transparent.
take a, let's take a look and we'll, as we get closer to it, see who.
So we've got to by April
Yeah,
gotta do it.
17th, we've got to make that decision.
Gotta.
Because we don't want to go after April 17th because then the price really jacks up. I mean,
You know, we need to make
jacks up good.
okay.
Just
So-
take good notes.
All right,
Okay.
see who all goes. Anything else?
Then why are you planning on coming?
Oh, I have to think about it yet.
Sooner I go, the sooner I can get you guys registered and the sooner I can lock in the lodging.
Yeah, maybe
Because that's the one that really,
we need to lock down by Friday, this Friday. Let's see who all.
So I would say lock me in, Caitlin, please.
I'll tell you, one thing that is also useful, just so everybody knows, it's more than just that. On the Mountain District and the Southwest District, they all have the local, all commissioners get together, and it's a very useful meeting for all of us. Matter of fact, the most useful. Anyway, we'll know by Friday.
okay, because lodging, that is the lowest price. Those are gonna go first.
Where is it? Is it,
And
Ten Keystone.
if I can't get that room, it jumps up to $250.
yeah. That's-
So
we
the
gotta
sooner I
make it-
go, the sooner I can get
All right.
everything locked in.
Sounds like a plan. Okay. Anything else?
No, just if we can get people to sign up for Everbridge with their address here. That'll be a big push for us to notify people of any fire hazards that are coming. I think that's our good message. The website is up and running, the new one, so please review it, give feedback.
You know, we really got, people have to understand it too. The Everbridge went out, people heard it. The people above the last fire didn't care, and they stayed. And had to be asked to move by the deputies and went up. So we need to get some PR out there that says,
And that's part of what I'm trying to do with the Wetmore office while they're commuting in. I'll change those any days that are needed.
that was on that Buttermilk fire.
And we do along the Sangre de Cristos, we do have lots of power lines that are in the
In
trees,
tree lines.
amongst the tree lines. It's,
We're gonna be losing power all the time.
yeah, we will be, so.
And just to put out for the record that, I've come up with a, device that they could put together for their, satellite communication. And I'm putting that together just as an awareness thing where, because Sandy Cristo and Black Hills will be doing rolling blackouts because of wind. And the time frame from the time that they shut it down because something hit a line,
Could be.
they have to do a visual now before they'll turn it on. And so if we have somebody out there that is on an oxygen concentrator or anything else, medical devices, what I put together is a thing where it's just a 12-volt battery, an inverter with a power strip that they can plug in their cell phone, the Starlink or whatever unit they have, and one lamp or whatever. And that would give them a communication center in an emergency if we're down 3 hours or a full day.
So what are you proposing? Paul? You gonna
No, I'm
make
gonna
10
put it
of them?
together as a package to show them what it is with a flyer to give them like Everbridge sign up. Here's a way you could do it. If you're off grid and you're on a generator, it wouldn't affect it, but if you're on the grid, you do not have any kind of a backup and you do not have cell service, which is pretty much the norm in District 2. I just like to have some of the people know that this is an option and it's about $200. I have to look at the pricing yet. But for $200, they'd have emergency communications and they would have Everbridge coming into their cell phones.
So not rolling blackouts, these are planned. And they will notify their customers
Right.
as best as possible. And I don't mean to speak for the power companies, but if your number, make sure that they have your correct number if you've changed your number so that they can contact you, so you are aware of what's going on, so.
So,
Yeah, it's hard to do.
yeah, because a lot of them do not have Everbridge, they do not have cell service except for their Wi-Fi.
They don't have a cell phone.
Well, do Wi-Fi call. I do that every day at the bridge.
You know, what I mean is there's a lot of survivalists out there that don't.
Oh, don't even have
don't
a
even
phone.
have a phone.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have anything else. And any other public comment here? Jim?
Yeah, I was, busily looking for the agenda of this meeting today and was getting very frustrated and not being able to find it. And then it dawned on me that last time you guys met, you were talking about changing over everything. I said, aha, it must be a new,
Website.
So
That's
I-
easier.
I retyped it, the Custer County -co.gov, because I had stored a tab.
Hmm.
And it was always taking me to the Google thing. Anyway, so I redid that and I came into this. And I just wanted to say, A, it looks a hell of a lot better. B, it works a hell of a lot better. And C, I found the agenda, so
Way to go.
kudos to the web designer operator, which I already personally gave a kudos to publicly.
Hey, thanks for that.
Oh, man, there's another pay raise in our.
Been a work. Yeah, it's just me.
All right, thank you, Jim. Okay, any other comments? Anything online? Public? Okay, then therefore I will adjourn this meeting and the time is, what time?
It is.
9:59. Way to go. And we almost, there's less than an hour, Jim.
Yeah.